Hello and welcome to this, the fifth of Millfield Band's Friday evening online get-togethers. If you've been watching over the last few weeks, you'll recognise the format: introduction, quiz, instrumental item and a devotional message. By the way, this and previous presentations can be found on YouTube under Sunderland Millfield Band Fellowship. Following this week's quiz, we're to be blessed with a tuba solo, Solveig's Song, from the Peer Gynt Suite by Edward Grieg. Our soloist this week is Kevin Wilkinson, a great instrumentalist, and I'm absolutely sure we'll enjoy Kevin's contribution. Majors David and Jill Coates are serving Salvation Army officers and formerly valued members of Millfield Band. I'm delighted to introduce David, who will lead us in devotions today following Kevin's solo. Firstly though, I've prepared just 12 questions, so let's see how many you can answer. I'll give you 10 seconds after each question in which I will sit trying to appear intelligent, then I'll reveal the answers. Good luck. Question 1. In what part of the body would you find the fibula? In what part of the body would you find the fibula? Question 2. Name the current UK Foreign Secretary. Name the current UK Foreign Secretary. Question 3. How many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? How many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? Question 4. What is the capital city of Switzerland? What is the capital city of Switzerland? Question 5. What does the Latin tempus mean in English? What does the Latin tempus mean in English? Question 6. What's longer, a nautical mile or a mile? What's longer, a nautical mile or a mile? Question 7. Which country in the world is believed to have the most miles of motorway? Which country in the world is believed to have the most miles of motorway? Question 8. In what year did the Beatles split up? In what year did the Beatles split up? And question 9. In what decade was pop icon Madonna born? In what decade was pop icon Madonna born? Question 10. What are the 5 colours of the Olympic rings? What are the 5 colours of the Olympic rings? Question 11. Which European city hosted the 1936 Summer Olympics? Which European city hosted the 1936 Summer Olympics? And finally, question 12. Which soft drink is commonly associated with Scotland? Which soft drink is commonly associated with Scotland? How did you fare, I wonder? Want to put you out of your misery? Here's the answers. Question 1. In what part of the body would you find the fibula? The answer, the leg. The leg. Question 2. Name the current UK Foreign Secretary. Answer, Dominic Raab. Dominic Raab. Question 3. How many of Henry VIII's wives were called Catherine? And the answer, 3. 3. Question 4. What is the capital city of Switzerland? And the answer, Bern. B-E-R-N, Bern. Question 5. What does the Latin tempus mean in English? And the answer, time. Time. Question 6. What's longer, a nautical mile or a mile? And the answer, the nautical mile is longest. It's 1.15 miles. Nautical mile. Question 7. Which country in the world is believed to have the most miles of motorway? And the answer, China. China. Question 8. In what year did the Beatles split up? The answer, 1970. 1970. Question 9. In what decade was pop icon Madonna born? And the answer, the 1950s. She was actually born in 1958. The 1950s. Question 10. What are the 5 colours of the Olympic rings? And the answer, blue, yellow, black, green and red. Blue, yellow, black, green and red. Question 11. Which European city hosted the 1936 Summer Olympics? The answer, Berlin. Berlin. Question 12. Which soft drink is commonly associated with Scotland? The answer, Iron Brew. Iron Brew. Hope you enjoyed that little quiz. Now give your brains a rest and relax while we listen to Kevin play Solveig's song.
Hello there. I have a nominal interest in photography. I've got a Sony camera with all the bells and whistles that does all sorts of things. And you know, I've been using it quite a lot recently in lockdown and the time was spent working from home. We've been trying to catch the local wildlife in the back garden, the birds and the animals that appear there. I've also got a pretty good mobile that takes pretty good pictures too. But the only problem I have with this is now I'm getting a bit old and decrepit. My hand shakes a little, so the pictures are not always in focus. You know, focus is important in life as well as taking pictures. So what's our focus on? Well, I must admit sometimes it's been quite difficult to keep my focus during this time working at home. It's so easy to be distracted, isn't it? A piece of research done recently by a university professor who was looking at Olympic medalists, and she discovered that bronze medalists were far happier than silver medalists. Why? Well, she found that silver medalists tend to focus on the fact that they came so close to winning the gold, and so they weren't really satisfied with silver. However, bronze medalists tended to focus on how close they came to not winning a medal at all, and were only too happy to be on the medal stand. You know, that study reveals a fascinating facet of human nature. Your focus determines your reality. How we feel is determined by our subjective focus. Here's another way of saying it. Your internal attitudes are more important than your external circumstances. So what's your focus, and why is it important? I want to share with you a story I read just recently, and it tells of an old farmer who was about to die. So he called his two sons to his bedside. He said, "Boys, my farm and my fields are all yours. You have each have equal shares. I leave you a little ready money, but the bulk of my wealth is hidden somewhere in the ground of the farm. I'm not sure anymore quite where it is, but it's not more than 18 inches from the surface." In time, of course, the old man died, the sons inherited the farm. So not long afterwards they set to work, digging up every inch of ground, but they failed to find any treasure. But since they'd gone to all the trouble of turning the soil, they thought, well, they might as well sow the crop, which they did, and it resulted in a fantastic harvest. The following autumn, as soon as they had the opportunity, they dug for treasure again, but with no better results. As their fields were turned over more thoroughly than the others in the neighbourhood, they again reaped better harvests than anyone else. So year after year, their search continued, and year after year they gained a good crop. It was only when they had grown older that they realised what their father had done. Those guys were more focused on the possible wealth they could find in the ground, rather than the ongoing benefit of the fields and the crop that they produced from those fields. Galatians 6 verse 7 says, "Do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows." So what is our focus? Do we focus on the negative and reap seeds of despair? "Oh, I can't do that, can't do this, it's far too difficult." Or do we focus on the positive, on seeds of hope, by taking God at his word and taking a step of faith and being strong? But you know, sometimes our circumstances may seem greater than we are, but that's the time when God shines. If we think about things that have happened in the Bible, David killed the giant with a sling. Moses led the Hebrews out of Egypt with a stick. Jesus changed the world with 12 men. These shouldn't have happened, but you know, God made them happen. So what is our focus on the future? I wonder if you've ever heard about this strange concept called the reticular activating system, and that's takes some saying as well. Behavioural scientists have discovered that we usually see things that we prepare ourselves to see, and that is all centred in a network of nerve cells called the reticular activating system. So, once something is being brought to our attention and we've been prepared to see it, we'll see it virtually everywhere we go. For example, if you decide to buy a new car and you make up your mind that you're going to buy a certain brand, a certain body style, a certain colour, then all of a sudden you start seeing those cars everywhere. You'll see them on the roads, you'll see them in TV advertisements, you'll see them in newspapers and magazines. They're everywhere. And a few years ago, I decided to choose the Nissan Juke from the Army's fleet list. And those were the days when the Duke was just being introduced, and they were not very common. They're a bit common as muck now in Sunderland particularly, but in those days they weren't very common. But you know, when I'd decided, I'd started to see more and more Dukes on the road. What had happened? Well, they were always there. But the moment you prepare yourself to see them, your reticular activating system kicks in, and suddenly you see those things everywhere. Whatever you focus on expands, so focus wisely. Your focus determines your reality. So where should our focus be? Well, you know, as Christians, Hebrews 12 gives us some idea. Hebrews 12 in the New Living Testament says this: "And let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, on whom our faith depends from start to finish." Or as the Voice translation says, "Now stay focused on Jesus, who designed and perfected our faith." That's who we need to focus on. And you know, I'm reminded of that old chorus that we used to sing, and now a great song sung by Lauren Daigle. And it's those words that I leave with you today. Turn your eyes upon Jesus, look full into his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. May God bless you.